I can't. Holy shit.
Hello everyone and welcome to another video and yet again Portobello Beach. Getting quite well accustomed to this place, aren't you? So am I, and that is because the weather is improving, actually alarmingly so today. It is maybe perhaps double digits. The sea is still around 5.5, 6 degrees, so it is cold. So we have a special guest.
I'm shitting myself.
That's her first and last name, by the way, to confirm.
I'm Stephanie, otherwise known as Nuttyfoodiefitness, and I'm most probably going to die today.
That is why I'm here, to help that happen. But no, it's actually to bring it back, to circle back a little bit. Steph's a Gymshark athlete. We've linked up because Steph has just started a journey to Ironman triathlons. What? You've just started running properly, you've just got set up on Zwift, and this is going to be the first open water swim. So, thoughts and feelings, go.
I feel like if I can do this, I can do anything. So I am absolutely petrified because I am the biggest wimp when it comes to the cold. And although Fergus is making out like it is the most exotic day, I am still going to freeze.
Tropical paradise. Tropical paradise. So, my point to Steph earlier was, this is the first time in a wetsuit, first time in open water. It's going to be the coldest water she's going to swim in, and it's going to be the hardest it's ever going to be. So, all jokes aside, if she gets this out of the way, this will probably be the hardest swim she's ever done, and will set her up really nicely for the rest of this journey to Ironman. So with that in mind, what we're going to do today is run through sort of 3 different stages of some things to consider before you get in the water, some things to consider once you're in the water, how you need to change your stroke, your technique, etc, etc, and then just go for a swim other than that. So we're going to try and make it as translatable to you at home for your training, for your first open water swim, probably when it's a little bit warmer, I would imagine. But whilst we're here, we might as well cover it off and see how we get on. But before we do that, a few things to request from you. First of all, like the video.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
It costs nothing, it's free. He appreciates it.
It'll cost you something if you don't know. Am I right? Secondly, please comment down below with your thoughts, feelings, and your gratitude that Steph has actually lived to the end of this video, we hope. And thirdly, please do subscribe to both mine and Steph's channel, which is significantly larger and significantly more food focused. So
it really is.
For all of you asking about the food stuff that I'm not doing just yet, because frankly it would become embarrassing and I'd make myself look like a glutton, then head to Steph's
That's
channel
where I come in.
as the box is ticked. But anyway, we are going to get kitted up. Steph has a fresh drop from Hoob, the finest wetsuit company available anywhere nearby, frankly, anywhere in the world perhaps, and we're going to get in the sea, so why don't we crack on?
I'm just going to do the damn thing. I feel like a penguin.
There's no swim cap left.
Yeah?
Sick. Yeah.
I feel like I've only got pea heads.
I wasn't very well equipped to advise on the ponytail situation there, so figured it out. I've forgotten my skull cap, so my heat is going to be a little bit cold, but I know exactly where it is.
Feet.
But think about Steph's feet. Yeah. She hasn't mentioned that yet. She hasn't mentioned that yet. Pay attention, kids. You want them to be able to stick on your face without actually having them on first. So you want to just try and like get them in a position that's comfortable, so that they can kind of just hover. They're not going to stay on forever, but if they just stick for a little bit.
They're not even, oh yeah.
Yeah, and then if you go from there, so that it's comfortable rather than thinking get it mad tight.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool?
Yeah.
Nice. Alright, now top tip that we've both forgotten, but this is a good way of reinforcing it. Anti-fog.
That's
first
the
time
one.
using the goggles, yeah.
That's the one.
So, if it is your first open water swim, you might be a little bit nervous, which might mean that you might get out into the open water, be 20-30 yards out and think, uh-oh, I don't like this. And then you try and sight where to get back to the shore so that you don't panic, etc, etc. And you can't see a thing because your goggles are fogged up. And a way to alleviate that is with some anti-fog. So this isn't just a product plug, which it is. A great way of actually making sure this doesn't happen, because you want part of open water swimming is sighting, and if you don't have this and you can't sight, then you're not going to be very good at sighting and you're going to have a bad time. But I don't want to make it seem like open water swimming is a scary thing. It's just something you need to approach with caution, do the right things, and you'll have a good time. A bit closer up, I reckon. Yeah, nice, nice. And then just rub it in.
Oh, rub it in?
Yeah, literally rub it in, it'll be sound.
Oh.
Anti-fog, everyone. Next up, so another essential, might not be so relevant today because we're just focusing on like the baselines, getting used to the water, but if you start to swim any distance in a wetsuit for the first time, you will start to chafe around your neck almost definitely. So where do you want to apply some lube around the affected areas? So you probably won't know if you chafe in here until you've swam in there, to be honest. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you can then preemptively sort of use it under there if needed. Okay. But neck is almost a guarantee, so in there, generally speaking, is where you want to be. Basically, when there's any overlap of material, anything that's moving is going to bunch up and sort of rub on you through there. So if you can just get that covered around here.
So like here?
Yeah, just get underneath it, and then just sort of, for reference as well, you can use Vaseline, but this is much better for your wetsuit and your skin as well, apparently, I've been told.
Do I do the front bit a bit?
Yeah, just anywhere that might rub. Part number one of today is going to be basically about dealing with the cold as we get in, because whilst it might look like a lovely Caribbean day, it is in fact not. It is in fact a cold, dreek Tuesday afternoon. The sun is out, which is nice and makes it a bit more pleasant, but it's still going to be cold in there. So stepping in, controlling our breath, getting comfortable before we swim is going to be sort of lesson number one today, and we're going to use our guinea pig to see how it all unfolds.
I'm so scared. I just don't know if I'm going to make it out alive at this point. I really don't. But I'm ready. We got this. I've actually got a tattoo that says we got this.
Really?
So I need to stop being a wimp and actually just get my shit together.
Well, you can't have that tattoo if you've been complaining this much. So.
I can't feel my feet!
Okay, here we go. How are your feet?
They don't exist!
Okay, so step out steadily. So cold is now kind of seeping into the parts of our body where you're like, oh, that's a bit uncomfortable. And is your breath going a little bit?
I can't.
So try, tip here.
Yeah.
You try and breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just really take control of your breath. Take control of your breath. And then if you just actually just sort of float a little bit, get down, just so that you get comfortable. Is it only your feet that are bad though?
It's now everything.
And just float a little bit, get your breath, sort of just confidently breathe, wait until you're comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
And off you go.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Okay. Am I going in?
You are going in. You are going in. It's going to happen.
That way.
That way. That way. Just go aim for 10 strokes and then float up if you need to.
It's freezing!
Okay, so main thing that's happened there is head is under the water, which means that the cold has been felt. There'll be a bit of a shock. How's your breath? How's your breath? Into your nose?
I'm trying.
Yeah, good.
I'm trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more relaxed now than I 100%. Was in the Highlands a few weeks back. So
the Stoltmans do this every day, and also very strong, large men. So look at you, keeping up with the strong, large men.
All I have to say is Fergus makes this seem really chill. It is something else, guys. It is absolutely freaking freezing.
It is quite cold. I haven't put my face in yet, that's why I'm still smiling. But why don't we switch over? Once you're comfortable, so I've been submerged for a little bit, so I am a bit...
Yeah.
But I've just been focusing on breathing, and then this bit, if the weather wasn't as nice as it is now, I'd normally wait a little bit longer and sort of talk myself out of this, because it is cold. I'm actually shivering a little bit now, you can see. And I wouldn't put my face under, because it really hurts. But I'm going to do it anyway, because one, there's a camera on me, and two, I'd feel pretty
for the content.
disingenuous if I didn't do it, so... And now I actually feel a bit better overall because the fear of the cold is gone. I know what it's going to feel like, and now we can go back to shore, debrief a little bit before we focus on part number 2 around how we need to change our stroke when we're in the open water. Debrief.
I can't feel my feet, but actually it's weird that I'm about to say this. I think it gets better. I feel like it does get better.
It does.
Like
it does.
the initial fright when you put your feet in there is not okay, but I feel like I'm going to be okay.
I agree.
Just about.
I always had faith. I had
none.
glad that there's now 2 of us feeling that way, but what we're going to focus on now that Steph's actually got used to that shock, a lot of what puts people off this sort of thing is that, and the fear of getting cold, and now that we're over that, we're actually, temperature wise, it's okay out there in the sun. So we're going to focus on how we need to change the stroke. So you've just done some swim MOT
it
work
felt
with
weird.
Lucy,
it did feel weird, especially with this, because it's the first time I've tried to swim with a wetsuit.
Yeah. So main thing today is we're just going to try and get used to that feeling rather than doing any mad volume. One thing to change, just from a general point of view, is if you're used to pool swimming, you can often sort of catch here a little bit and then pull in down there, so you can be quite sort of superficial over the top of the water. We want to almost come a little bit more over the top, because if it was choppier than it is today, that allows you to go over the waves, allows you to have a bit more control over your movement, and allows you to get a bit more of an arc so that you can sight up and then pull through. So everything that you've been taught by Lucy, ex-GB swimmer, weapon of an athlete, last week it was, completely valid.
In fact, literally a couple of days ago.
It was a few days ago.
It was literally like 3 days ago.
So just apply all of that, but just try and focus on keeping your breath, breathing on the same side you normally do, over the top, and then just try and keep it really smooth. Don't send it, because we're not going anywhere. We'll just do about 100 metres one direction, see how we feel, come back the other way, and then we'll debrief for part 3 of the tips, tricks, advice, I don't know what we're going to call this, but the sort of 3rd debrief of the day. The main focus today, and for most of you if this is your first time open water swimming, is just get safely, we're not far from the shore, used to how this feels, play around with your stroke, feel what feels decent, think about how you can change it and then go again. Simple as that. Don't need to build Rome in a day, as we all know how that phrase goes. So all I'm going to do is just slightly demonstrate a bit of a difference for like 5 strokes with how a lot of people conventionally swim in a pool, and the subtle change that I use and I've heard others recommend using when you're in open water. So okay, so a few points on just how to change stroke covered off there. Any questions at any point, obviously just ask in the comments down below. Worth mentioning, I am no expert on swimming at a top tier level. I've just managed to do it from a meathead, sinky hip point of view with a few tips along the way. So anyone looking at his technique being like, he doesn't look like Michael Phelps, I agree, I don't. I absolutely don't. I'd like to eat as much as he does though. I would, and you
that's
probably...
that's the next video, eating and training like Michael Phelps.
So, part number 3, we're going to focus on an essential part of open water swimming, which is sighting. So in a pool, you've got lines beneath you, you've got little, what are they called? Buoys? Lanes? Lane markers?
Yeah.
Probably just lane markers, yeah, whatever they are. Those things, so you know where you're going, you don't need to focus on it. Whereas here, you need to try and direct yourself based on feel, sense, etc, etc. So, 1 stroke, 2 stroke, and then you can either go up, or you can sort of breathe and then sight on your way back down. There's 2 ways you can do it. I kind of alternate on both. Some days I do one, some days I do the other. Don't really know why, but we are going to work in number 1 and practice it as we go, because ultimately today we are just building up to a steady swim of a certain distance that Steph does not yet know we are going to cover, but that will come soon. So, how are you feeling about sighting?
Yeah, I'm still trying to get over what I just heard you say, so...
500 metres I think is reasonable, isn't it? 500 metres. Agreed? Agreed.
But it's true, as soon as you're in there, you don't know where you're going.
Like even that little bit of swimming you did there,
still,
you went off 45 degrees to left straight away. So, I will explain this. I will explain this on the GoPro in the water, because I'm not going to be able to explain it as well in here. So I will see you in there in 3, 2, 1. 2 ways you can do this. The way that I like to do it is basically stroke here, stroke here, and then bob up, and then back down as I'm in between breaths. So basically, where I would normally breathe, I pop up, look, choose a sight in the distance, try and lock onto that, and then every 8 to 10 strokes, bob up to check I'm still moving in line with it. You can hear my breath going a little bit actually as I'm saying this, but what we're going to do now is we're going to take Steph through a few attempts at it, and then we're going to try and actually hold the line for a little bit, just so we can see what it looks like. So you can give it a go too. Point over there that we're going to aim for. I'm going to follow behind Steph to see how she does, and we're all going to either A, say nice try, or B, say well done.
Okay.
Find out soon.
I'm hoping for a well done. Holy shit. Okay. Was that okay?
How do you think you did?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. Although, you did veer left, didn't you?
I did, and then I realised.
Yes. So, that's why it's so important to do it quite regularly, because I've been in a race before where I've just got complacent and haven't done it for like 40, 50 strokes. And I've looked up and I'm like, where's the White House? Oh my, it's over there. It's over there. And then I had to correct, and then my head was gone, so.
But
good job.
I ended okay, right?
Yeah. So the main thing is you looked up, saw it, and corrected it.
Yeah.
Which is the main thing, so.
Yeah, because at the same time, I'm like trying to think, go straight, but I'm also like, because it's just overwhelmingly cold, and I'm even struggling to talk now.
There's actually breath. You can see cold breath, yes. That's cold, there you go.
Because it's really cold, it's almost like it's harder to concentrate on other things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm like straight, but then I'm also like, I am freezing. So it's difficult, okay? It's difficult.
An excellent example of why piecing this together bit by bit on your first go is much more important than just diving in head first, pun intended, and seeing what happens. So one last time at shore, and then we're going to piece this together.
Fergus is chilling, and I'm slowly struggling to string a sentence together. It's getting really difficult to speak, but I think I somewhat managed to kind of look out. What's it called? Sight.
Sight, yeah, sight. Yeah.
So I feel like that's something I never really thought about coming into this, which is a very, very good thing to think about. So yeah, we're trying.
So we've gone through 3 sort of like the basic recommended beginner points that I would say anybody with their first open water swim should go through. So first thing is just getting used to actually being in the water, in the kit. I need my inhaler, it's cold.
I feel like I need one.
Non-asthmatic needs an inhaler. You can try my inhaler if you want. I'm absolutely fine with that. But then floating around in the kit, getting your breath, which we've done. Secondly, actually just getting used to that slight change in stroke and that just difference in pull, especially if there's a bit of a current and some waves. And thirdly, sighting, which is something that I think everybody should focus on from the off rather than working in only when it's relevant. And how did it go?
It went okay. I feel like there's room for improvement because I did let myself go a bit, and then I was like, oh, the whole point was to go straight. So I corrected it. So not bad, right?
Yeah,
what,
not bad
what
at
would
all.
you give me out of 10 for my sighting?
Up until the final 5 or 6 strokes, it was a firm bottom end of the table. And then it was a look up and I saw go, oh right, okay. And then off we went this way. So it bumped up towards an 8, I'd say.
Yes!
Yes. 8 out of 10. Why don't we make it a 10 as we piece this together for an actual bit of swimming? It is important to mention that the booties didn't arrive, so feet are very exposed. Which will make a difference for overall temperature. So I shouldn't stand here all smug because mine are covered. And then 2, the anti-neoprene going in a swimsuit and beanie gang. This is prep for a triathlon, so oh, but you're a neoprene, you can't possibly be cold comments aren't required. Take it elsewhere, your subculturism
I'm blocking anyone that says that. They're getting an instant block.
And rightly so. Right, so watch is on, and the aim to piece all this together. Again, at any point, if you have any questions on how to pull this all together yourself, please do ask away. But we've got 0 as the starting point here. We're going to aim to cover between 300 and 500 meters, basically as much as we can tolerate, just to actually piece together a few things, the sighting, get Steph 500 meters under her belt in the open water, some lessons to learn, and then this is going to be the worst open water swim she'll ever do, because one, she doesn't live in Scotland, which helps with the cold, and two, once you've practiced these things and got them nailed in open water for a triathlon, for a race, you only really need to practice them every once in a while so that you're comfortable with them, because you can do a lot of your volume work in the pool. So how are you feeling? Focus swim.
So cold right now, but all I'm thinking about is pizza at the end. Pizza at the end.
That's how I approach most of my training days, to be honest, these days. Every Saturday for the past 4 years, that has been my mindset. So, 0 meters. I'm not going to start it right now dramatically, because that would be cheating, because there are 3 or 4 meters to go. But I'm going to start this once we're in there, and we're going to cover 500 meters, and we will see you back here very soon. Just under 500 meters in just over 10 minutes. I can confirm, once we got out of the sort of tide a little bit, out of the tide, away from the shore a little bit, it did drop like 2 degrees. You just suddenly got very, very cold. And
I felt every degree that it went down. I felt it. I felt it.
So did I, to be fair. And I've been doing this once a week all over winter, so we're gonna get out of this, but hopefully piecing that all together makes sense to you all. I think we covered pretty much everything you need to think about, other than a tow float, if you're doing it on your own or somewhere that requires a tow float, but we didn't have one, so sue me. Anything to add? Thoughts, feelings?
I'm struggling to string my sentences together. I feel really slow. That was an experience and a half. I feel like I've learned a lot though. I've come out with some knowledge and experience, but nothing can ever be this bad, right?
That's the main thing. I think the main takeaway for today was, while Steph's very cold, she's had a learning experience in terms of swimming skills. She is standing here shivering, looking like she might jump into a furnace if she had the choice. I think it'll never be this bad again. I remember when I started swimming again for my triathlon training, I was so scared about the first time I got in the water. So hopefully a few of those tips can be useful for you if you want to give it a go. Hopefully you learned some things there.
If I can do it, you can do it. Believe me when I say that.
Yeah, and she's done well. She's done well. Can't we all agree? And that's why you should like the video immediately. Thank you very much. We were just saying how this is the equivalent of like playing rugby growing up. I've got so many vivid memories of being like trying to do my top button up and then being told off by teachers for not having done my top button off. And this is now what we are. This is what
I did for content. So please like the video, okay? Please do that one thing for me.
Okay, so open water swimming tip number 4 or 5, I've lost track, is to refuel aptly. And here we have one slice. I'm only allowed one slice of pizza at the moment, so like my 1 glass of wine, it's a big old glass I've got for it. So this is how we manage 1 slice a day.
1 slice.
And as you can see, could feed a small family, I think. But nonetheless, this is fried chicken, buffalo sauce, shredded mozzarella, spring onions, gorgonzola and chilies, and it's called hot chicks in your area. So we're going to eat this, Steph's going to eat hers, and then we're going to get back into some warmth. But it's been a fun afternoon. It's been a fun afternoon.
Yeah, and the highlight of now.
But all jokes aside, comparison to fear of getting in the water versus how you feel getting out now with what you know, compare and contrast.
I feel like there was, I shouldn't have been so scared to begin with. It was, God, I'm still struggling to like think, and the camera in front of me is giving me extra pressure, but it wasn't, I was going to say it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it was pretty bad. But it's okay. I don't know, I can't string any sentences together. I genuinely can't.
Wasn't as concise as I was hoping for,
I just can't.
But
I can't.
game over, game over. I think that's what we call the onset of hypothermia, ladies and gentlemen. So we're probably going to have to wrap up the video here, as I might be getting sued by Steph's legal representatives. But nonetheless,
I'm still shivering.
I know, I actually feel quite bad at this point, but we went through the top line points. Hopefully there's some things you can take away from that. If you want a bit more of a winter focused video on open water swimming, head to this video here, and you can watch that in detail and go through all the kit, break down how to approach things, how to get warm, etc, etc. But we're going to eat this pizza, we're going to say thank you for watching, and we're going to see you next time.
Thanks a lot for watching, and stay nutty, my friends.